right, so Stephan Hawkes here today with Guitar Tabs Daily at Bad Cat in Costa Mesa. I had previously reviewed the Hot Cat 50 through this cabinet here, but we're going to do something a little different, and we're actually going to check it out going through the Bad Cat PurePath. It's a passive analog cab simulator, which allows you to basically play your amp without making a bunch of noise, or you can, capture a redundant version of it and send it, to the live, to the front of house for maximum flexibility. Also great for recording, kind of reminiscent of like old Palmer units and stuff back in the day that guys used to have. So it's an IR, but it's an analog impulse response box. So it takes the signal out of the guitar amp and turns it into actual like mic'd sound. And what's cool is you basically got options here of switches. So in addition to all of the sounds that the amp can do, you've kind of got tone shaping options and cab changing options on the box. To basically just allow for you to get whatever tone you're looking to get dialed in, so you can play all your favorite amps, not make any noise, or you can have it go through, have the amp still be plenty loud, and then kind of capture like a redundant feed of the amp, or maybe it's just maybe that just sounds better going to front of house for the venue you're at, because again it's a really controlled signal and it sounds really nice. So you got a lot of flexibility there. The features, you basically got a level, which is again just for doing your gain staging, whatever you need. And I found it was fine at 0 dB, but if things are coming in real hot, it's nice to have a little 20 dB pad right there on the front. And then basically the two mic options, one of which is on the edge of the speaker, it's going to give you a darker, more full sound, and in the center of the speaker, which is going to give you a brighter sound, which this definitely does. Open and close back, I definitely do find that the open back setting has a little more of kind of like a vibe and a life to it, whereas the closed back setting is tighter and more focused. And then you've got ceramic and Alnico speaker types. The Alnico is a little more subdued and yet kind of chiming away, and then the ceramic just sounds a little more full out, kind of rocking. And then you got a presence switch, which again just kind of a global, you can brighten the thing up if for whatever reason you need. So it just kind of gives you some tonal flexibility in addition to obviously dialing in the amp however you want. So in this case, I've kind of dialed in just sort of like a, like a nice, cleanish sound here with it set to the edge of the speaker, which is the darker setting, the open cab, which is a little more, lively and just, I don't know, gives you more of a sense of being in the room with it, which is fun because I'm wearing the headphones to do this. And then ceramic, because it's kind of the full out rock. So that's where I'm starting here, and here's what it sounds like fully clean. You can switch that and hear the Alnicos. It gives it a little bit of a sweeter tone. I actually do really like that for the clean. And if you go to the center of the speaker, you're going to get a little bit of a brighter sound, which again, not a bad thing depending on what you're trying to do. I feel like the edge, I usually mic up on the edge, so it's not surprising to me. But again, I'm playing a single coil guitar. I'm set up a certain way. Like, this is definitely an option worth having. I just kind of generally prefer miking the edge anyway, and in this case it's kind of working with the settings I dialed in, because that's how I mic'd it up when I did this. So it's not surprising that edge would work better, which implies the way that it's voiced is probably accurate to what you would actually do. And then the closed back sound, it's just a little more focused. There's just a little less kind of space around it. I do really like the open back sound on this, at least when I'm hearing it in the headphones. A little bit of like a glow around the mids. It's just, again, you could always add that kind of dimensionality, I suppose. It's not a reverb, it's just a sense of space, which is, when you play open back cabs, they definitely have that. And then, you can hear what the presence does. Definitely makes things bright. So depending on your amp, you might need that. But it definitely does, what you would think. I feel like having it down is more like what the amp's actually set up to. But again, one quick switch might be the combo that your amp needs. There's definitely, amps that are on the dark side that would benefit from that kind of electric top end that it's giving. So I'm going to go to, I can hear what it does when I put on the boost. So this is just the boosting of the clean channel. Ceramic. Yeah, so it's just more rockin' and just has a different kind of top-end distortion topography to it. But very good. Closed. I'm really partial to the open. I don't know. They're very similar, but there's some of the open that just feels more... Again, I guess I played this through an open cab, so I'm just trying to recreate the sound that I heard here, and imagine that, the open back is... I've never heard this amp through a closed back, so what do I know? And then we go to the full the overdrive channel without the boost. Switch that to center to get it a little more bright. And that's kind of cool. The centered is just going to give you kind of more of a jangly sound, which is not, you know, not a bad thing. Again, so I'm playing a Strat, so if I was playing like the S1 here, it already makes that center sound more appealing. And you can kind of do, if you do the center and the Alnico, they kind of even each other out real nicely. Yeah, I actually like that. I like the center with the Alnico, and then the edge with the ceramic is kind of a cool, you know, again, you just flip and you get the difference. But those even out really well. So yeah, so basically you got that, and then obviously I'm going to boost this thing up, and we're going to do kind of a maximum rock vibe. When you get to the high gain tones, that's where the ceramic versus Alnico really matters, because the Alnico just isn't going to have the bite of the ceramic. So it's, again, if you're looking for smooth, but for the full-on rock thing, the ceramic just does it. Hear those extra harmonics in there? Again, if I go to Alnico and center, you're going to get kind of rebalances itself. More of a jangly kind of British sound, even though it's high gain. But for the full-on rock, I do like the edge and the ceramic. Yeah, get the low end coming through really nice there. That's a real good sound. And then, you know, I'll turn on the presence here again. I don't think with a Class A, you know, beautiful top end of an amp like this, I may not need it, but actually that's pretty good. Let's see if I just go to my S1 switching. That's actually pretty cool. If I back that off, yeah, there is something really, really lively about that. So it's pretty good. And again, this is more like a humbucker kind of sound with the S1, or at least, I mean, it's not meant to be a humbucker, but it's more like that. It's more push. Whereas for the single coil, I find the presence to be a bit much. Yeah, and again, those just kind of even out. So it's like humbucker, presence might be the thing. But the thing I love about it in general is that these switches are just a quick yay or nay. You know, you just go brighter, less bright, more open, less open. You know, you just kind of can make the decision real quick as to what you want. And they balance, you know, a lot of these particular, the mic and the speaker type and setting, they balance out really well. So that's great. And again, you can go pretty, you know, if I were to turn all of these to their brightest setting, you could get a really, really bright presentation, but maybe you got a really dark guitar and you need it. So it's got the flexibility, and they seems like these actually interact correctly with each other to give you a usable sound. So when I go between ceramic and Alnico, I get what I'm trying to get out of it, which is great, because the whole point is that you're supposed to be able to just plug this thing in, listen in headphones or through your studio monitors, or, you know, again, send a feed to front of house, and you're, you know, just get a sound that's good and usable. So, you know, even if you were sending to front of house, like, oh man, it's a little dark, you just hit the present switch and you go, oh sweet, thanks, you know. So it's like, these switches are nice, and sometimes just having a decisive thing like that where you can just quickly shape and change the tone is really nice. At a gig, you know, you're playing your clean sound, you just know you switch down Alnico and you get kind of a cleaner thing, and then you're playing your rock tunes and you switch up to the ceramic. So I like those kinds of things. I like just having things on a switch. I'm always big on just having the yay or nay kind of option. I don't want it to be everything to be completely variable. If these were knobs that went between ceramic and Alnico, I'd be like, I don't know where the sweet spot, like, what are we doing here? So I'm actually kind of glad it's just like this or this, dial in the amp, get the sound you want. I'm sure you'll end up finding favorites for, you know, depending on what kind of amp you're using. And again, it's predictable behavior, so you just kind of find your sound, and you can have the sound of a guitar cabinet recording into your DAW and not annoy the neighbors. So that's a perk.